Alright everybody, Dark Souls 2, Bow Only, Part 13, the finale. Starting off with the blue flavor of the Smelter Demon here. So yeah, I said in the last video I wasn't sure if I included the run-ups to these particular bosses, and yeah, I didn't. For whatever reason, they decided to do bosses like this in the DLC and run-ups to them, which were extremely tedious and just honestly a bunch of nonsense. And I know that the whole reason behind it was because they wanted to make co-op areas, but man, going through these things solo was just a complete pain in the ass, and I really don't know what FromSoft was thinking doing this. I really don't. This boss is the exact same as the red Smelter Demon. The only difference is I believe he's in a bigger room. I don't 100% know that, but it every time I fight him, it feels like I have an easier time fighting this one. It feels like I do have more room in this area, so, you know, I don't know if that's just me, but yeah, I'm always found this one to be a little bit easier than the red Smelter Demon. Even though the run-up is infinitely worse, though I really don't know, like, both run-ups are really bad. Like, Smelter Demon is a really cool boss, just gets kind of fucked over with his run-up because of just how bullshit it is and how much you can actually die to each one of the run-ups. So I honestly think that's kind of why he gets a bad rap. You know, I don't really hear a lot of people saying too many positive things about him, but I think he's one of the better Dark Souls 2 bosses. I'd probably put him in the top 10. So there's that. I don't understand why they reused him for this fight. I guess it kind of makes sense from a lore perspective, but I don't know. They could have done something a little bit better. They could have done something a little bit more creative than just a reskin. But you know, they did it in Dark Souls 1 a couple times. They, you know, luckily didn't do it so much in Dark Souls 3, which I really liked. But with the DLC bosses, you can kind of see some similarities between, you know, how they were handled and how some of the bosses in Elden Ring, for example, were handled. Basically just, let's make it harder by throwing, you know, multiple things on you at the same time. And I'm not talking about the main bosses in Elden Ring, except for, you know, Godskin Duo. But you know, some of the cave bosses or the catacomb bosses, like, you know, triple Crystallians, you know, double Crucible Knight, stuff like that. All of that kind of feels like it started here. No real thought put into how the bosses would work together. And the reason that I'm bringing that up is because of the next fight that we're going to do. The quote-unquote secret boss fight of the Sunken Crown DLC is 3 NPCs in a cave. One in Havel armor, one with a bow in the background there. And in fact, he's actually got a great bow. And this other guy, whoever he is, he's kind of dual-wielding some scimitars or curved swords or something like that. This fight is so stupid. It makes no sense. Again, I know these are supposed to be like co-op type bosses, but I mean, why? The only co-op that you give in this is for, you know, some crappy NPC summons that aren't really that great. And you know, Dark Souls 2 servers are, you know, not the are not the most played right now, and how many people are, you know, chomping at the bit really to come in here and do this fight. It was just a really bad idea. And I wish that they had learned that this was a bad idea before making it a core component in a lot of the secret or extra areas of Elden Ring, because that was some of the least fun bosses that I fought in that game. The one thing I will give this credit for is the fact that the Afflicted Grave Robber, who I've you know, been shooting at, or trying to shoot at mostly, you know, he can be poisoned. I think the Great Bow guy ends up being able to be poisoned as well. And I also think he doesn't have a whole lot of HP. So I feel like that's kind of how they tried to balance it out. But really, like, how are you really supposed to do this with any, like, fluidity and, you know, planning? It just doesn't make sense. The arena isn't even that good for breaking up aggro, because two of the guys pretty much stay on each other the entire time, the Havel guy and the Afflicted Grave Robber. And this guy right here, you know, shooting at you from the back, pretty much dodges every attack that I have. I actually forgot that he brings out a rapier, so... Or he might have an S-stock, I'm not sure. But yeah, you're trying to take care of one of these guys, and you got Big Dick Havel over here slamming his dragon tooth down on you. And why did they feel the need to reuse Havel's armor? Like, it's, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. And I know I'm being, like, negative, probably a little too negative, but I love Dark Souls 2, and I feel bad that, you know, it's ruined for some people by stuff like this, because I totally understand why people don't like this game, and the reasoning for not liking that game for some of these people is this kind of fight. So it makes sense to me, you know, and I agree with them in that respect. And then, you know, this guy, like, he can even heal. He doesn't heal much, you know, but he can heal. I poisoned him a little bit, but I don't think that he got too much damage taken away from that poison. So, I don't know. It's just, it's not my favorite fight for sure. It's probably one of my least favorite fights in the game. This guy was kind of annoying to take down with as much dodging as he can typically do. But luckily I ended up getting him down pretty quickly. And yeah, he can be poisoned and doesn't have a whole lot of HP. So, I don't know, maybe I should have gone for him first, Afflicted Grave Robber second, and, you know, the Havel guy third. But yeah, that's going to do it for that fight. And the next fight is going to be another reskin. And on top of the fact that it's a reskin, they decided to give you two of them to fight. So here we go. Lud and Zelen. This is the finale, the final boss of this entire run. And I managed to do it on the second try, I believe. Because you can see my souls in the background there. Getting to this boss is actually more difficult than the boss itself. Because the boss itself actually is pretty forgiving in the fact that it doesn't have a whole lot of HP. And they counteract that with the fact that there is a second one that will jump in here in just a little bit. But getting to these guys, you have to go through a lovely place that has been so eloquently named Horseback Valley by many members of the Dark Souls community. And I 100% agree with them. I fucking hate the run to this boss. Basically, it is a giant snowfield where you can't see anything, and you are just blindsided by reindeer or horses or whatever the hell they decided that those things actually are. And they can jump up in the air, they can shoot lightning bolts at you, and in order to get here and kill as many of those things as I possibly could, what I did was I actually ended up summoning the NPC co-op partners that they provide you in the beginning, because there was no way I was going to go through all of that by myself. It would have taken probably a couple of hours, and I was just not willing to go through all of that just to die and have to restart over and over and over again, when I knew that this boss could potentially be a big pain in the ass. My biggest concern of this fight really wasn't even the fact that Zalen comes down, you know, midway through the fight. It was mostly just the fact that about 75% of the way through the fight, when he has, it honestly might be like 20 to 25% health left, he actually casts something on himself where he starts to heal. So my biggest concern was my DPS, but luckily my DPS was pretty damn good, and it didn't end up being too much of an issue. There's a lot of chances to get hits in on these guys, and there's a lot of chances to, you know, put distance between yourself and them, which definitely helped out a whole lot. So it's funny, I thought this was going to be the worst run, or the worst fight of the run, and it absolutely was not. So I was very happy about that, and I was very happy to finally get to this point and finally be able to take down this boss and to basically put an end to the all bosses bow run, as fun as it was. I think that's really kind of all I have. I just want to thank everybody for their patience in the 3 months that it's taken me to get all of this up. With Elden Ring coming out and me putting a lot of attention to that and a lot of attention to streaming on Twitch now, just this kind of fell by the wayside, and then, you know, when I would try to get back to it, life would kind of happen, and then that made things even worse for a little while. So, you know, next series that I do, I will definitely try to make sure I have more of it done before I actually put it on YouTube, so that way it's not staggered out over a long period of time. But, you know, we'll see. And I don't know what the next series is even going to be, so that's going to be a lot of fun, trying to figure that out. So thank everybody again for watching these videos, and I hope you enjoyed them. If you find these videos because you're thinking about doing this run for yourself, I hope that watching these fights helps you out somewhat. And if it does, you know, just let me know. But yeah, thanks again, everybody, for, you know, the 1000th time I probably said it in this video. And hope everybody has a great day. I'll catch you in the next one.